Hey, yo, man, what time is it?
You know what time it is, man.
2 a.m.?
Yeah, man.
Man, you know what?
What's that?
It's 8:46, bro.
Wow, that's deep.
Yeah, you know what time that is.
Yeah, man.
Nappy head,
Yo,
Funk Army.
what's up?
Stand up. Get it live, y'all.
Yo, folks, drop that beat.
You know what we gotta do.
Yeah, man.
We bringing this funk just for you.
You know,
Repeat after me. Say, you don't have to be the best, just gotta outlast the rest. You don't have to be the best,
you don't.
just gotta outlast the rest.
No, you
You don't have to be the best, just gotta outlast the rest. You don't have to be the best, just gotta outlast the rest. United we stand, divided we fall. Should our backs ever be against the wall, we'll be together until the jam is done. I'ma say that again for you. United we stand, divided we fall. Should our backs ever be against the wall, we'll be together until the jam is done. Here we go, y'all. Now let me tell you a little story about United We Stand. It says we're gonna funk across this funkless land. We gon' stand up and let our voices be heard. We ain't gonna let nobody stop us from spreading the spiritual word. The ruthless corporate greedy don't give a damn about the needy. We need everybody in the house to join us on this one, all right? Y'all say, united we stand, divided we fall. Should our backs ever be against the wall, we'll be together until the jam is done. Are y'all out there? You feeling me? United we stand, divided we fall. Should our backs ever be against the wall, we'll be together until the jam is done. Yeah. Check. 1, 2, 1, 2. United we stand, divided we fall.
What's up? What's up? What's up? Leave the candle on in the window of your conscious mind. Today, we start our new format on StreamYard. Our special guest today is none other than our good funky brother, Club Funketeer Ambassador, P-Funk Archivist, Mr. Tim Kindley is joining us on this beautiful, beautiful Veterans Day. Also, we have a veteran who is a Club Funketeer Ambassador coming on at 1 o'clock, and she's going to shed a little light, drop a little funk. Everybody's got a little light under the sun, some funk for your rump. Cheryl, my good sister Woodhouse, is coming on, and she's going to drop a little knowledge on us about vets and this and that, and we're going to talk to Tim. And then also, Mr. Mark Lee, our producer, thank you so much, sir, for handling this today. It is officially my very last day in this particular setting here in Durham as I'm moving to Raleigh. So the apartment, the scene, the backdrop and everything is a little under duress right now. So y'all just bear with me, as well as StreamYard dropping a new format on me at the last minute, which is okay. And we'll tell you a story about that once Tim gets on the air. But first of all, I wanted to just thank everybody as we continue to grow on Funk from the Front Seat. And as we continue to, let me get my light right. Hold on. I tell you, everything is like kind of weird today. As we continue to grow and as we continue to expand and keep this thing going like another 4, 5, 10, 20 years, whatever we do. It started in Durham, and it started basically in my car for a year, and then moved to this apartment. So this apartment has been my home for like 6 years. So now I'm getting ready to move somewhere else, and a little bit better environment, bigger, more space, yada yada yada. So that's a blessing. So thank you all for your prayers and everything. I know I've been absent from social media for like a month, and you guys are probably wondering, hey, what happened? What is he doing? What's going on? He ain't dropping much, but that's what's going on, is because I've actually been moving. So you can see behind me, Jimmy goes when I go. Jimmy don't never go by himself. Jimmy don't go in a moving truck. Jimmy goes when I go. So me and Jimmy have decided it's time to do something and keep it moving, and just get into a better environment, better space. All right. Having said that, I want to pay homage, and especially, let me take my hat off for this, all the veterans that have served and are currently serving, or future veterans that may serve. I don't agree with hardly any of the politics in America, but the day's not that day. Today's the day for me to say thank you to all of you. It's the day for me to say I appreciate you. It's the day for me to say that your service to this country that I live in and love so much matters to so many of us. And it's also a day for you guys to say, if you need mental health treatment, or a friend to talk to, or a hand to shake, or a phone call to make, you need to do that as a veteran. Please don't ever think that you're alone. I talk to so many veterans. I actually, before I moved, next week, the Veterans Administration is right up the street. So, I talked to a lot of vets, and I worked in healthcare 22 years, so I've had my share. But today's the day for us to just say thank you to you. Also, I wanted to mention really quick, hey, Boo, I just felt you tune in. Stay active on the chat line. Please do, because we got a lot of, archivist, vintage Tim Kinley, one-of-a-kind picks that we're going to be showing you that's going to really blow your mind. So trust me. So we're going to get that going in a little bit. But if you have a birthday today, happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. If you have any anniversaries, that's all good. Enjoy your day. And also, if you had any transitions, and we had one in our funk family, LaTanya, drummer girl, her dad passed away last night, and she's a drummer for Tony Cameron Funk All-Stars. She drums in many churches. She's a backup drummer for us, Napier Funk Army. So, LaTanya, you and the family are in our prayers and thoughts, and we love you for that. And today's is going to be a really cool show, but you guys got to sit back and hang out with us, because we got this new format. So I don't know what's going to happen. Mr. Mark Lee, could you bring in our guest, please? Mr. Tim Kinley is in the house. What's up, bro?
What's going on, my man?
I'm all good, man.
What's going on?
I'm good. Let me see if I can get Mark off. Bang, got that done. All right. So you doing all right, man?
So far, I am here. I'm lean, clean, and on the scene.
I like that. I like that. Did you serve in the military?
No, I did not. My father and my brother did.
Well, on behalf of your father and your brother, I wanted to say, thank you for that, because
absolutely,
that's great.
Absolutely.
And I remember last time you were here, you was telling us that you're a caregiver as well. And
I am so much of a caregiver that the person that I am caring for is here in this room with me right now while I'm doing this interview. Her name is Linda.
Oh, man. That's your sister, right?
Yeah. Give me 1 second here.
Sure.
Hold on. I think I can do this.
Hi.
Hi, sweetie.
Hi.
I love you.
Oh, we love you. What's your sister's name?
Her name's Lynette.
Lynette?
Yeah.
Hi, Lynette.
Hi, sweetie.
Welcome to Funk from the Front Seat.
Good.
Sending love to you. Yo, bro, it's already, we can't, the show's done. Lynette stole the show.
Okay.
She stole the show. It's done. We
Okay.
go now.
Yeah, that's true. She pretty much stole the show, didn't she?
Yo, man, let me tell you something. That's special, bro. Thank you for joining us today, man. And you're joining us from where? What state?
I'm calling you from the state capital of the Palmetto State, Columbia, South Carolina.
South Carolina. All right. So we're basically neighbors, and I'm so glad. And thank you, Patty and Bootsy, for connecting Tim and I.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's a blessing to be a Club Funketeer ambassador for you. So tell us a little bit about yourself when it comes to you getting involved in the funk and all this other stuff. I'm going to sit back and let you just explain to our audience what it is that you do and what got you into this whole funk thing.
I have been a faithful soldier in Uncle Jam's army since 1978. I'm sure a lot of people, they have a kind of a head start ahead of me, but I joined when I could. I used to hang out with my friends around the corner. We used to always do we always hang out in front of the house talking and BS and all that stuff. And at the time in 1978, disco and dance music was the rage. There was a new dance. Seems like it was appearing every week. So I'm sneaking around the corner. Are you frozen? I think you're frozen. Zach? Oh, Zach. I think I'll have to wait until you get unfrozen because right now you are frozen in time. Hopefully you'll get unfrozen. We don't want to be frozen. We want to be mobile. We want to move around. We want to be active, not frozen. Hopefully you will be unfrozen soon so I can finish the story, which you wanted to hear so much. I'm still here. Well, let me just go through it with the audience in general. Like I said, I used to sneak around the corner and hang out at my friend's house, in front of my friend's house, and they were listening to all the biggest dance hits of the day. And in fact, to this day, I can remember the exact sequence of the songs on the tape. The first song on the tape that my friend was playing was "Dance with Me" by Peter Brown, total disco dance classic. And then the second song was "Flashlight," and it stopped me dead in my tracks. I thought to myself, "What the hell is this?" And I just kept asking them to play it over and over and over. It was a song I just never got tired of. And I was like, wow, this is something else. So I went, bought the 45, played it till the grooves wore off. And then I was going into 8th grade I was graduating from 8th grade to 9th grade. So my parents gave me a little cassette radio player and gave my sister a stereo. My older sister gave my slightly younger sister some records to break the stereo in. One of those records was Bootsy Player of the Year. And I was very fascinated by the album cover. But when I started reading the liner notes, I said to myself, hey, the same names that are on this Bootsy album is on this Flashlight 45. So what's going on? Like they say, the plot thickens. A couple of months later, actually a couple of weeks later, Funkenteleke and Hollywood Squares.
Okay, I'm back. Sorry, something weird happened. I have no idea what that glitch was, but I'm going to start at the top again. Here we are, Mr. Tim Kenley, P-Funk Archivist. So tell us a little bit about how you start. Yeah, so I don't know. I told you the new format. It knocked me out.
Okay. Do you want me to start from the beginning again? Or
No. Just keep going, man. They were watching. The audience could still see you. It was just me that got knocked off.
Got it.
Yeah, you were good.
All right. So by the summer of 1978, Hollywood Squares and Funkenteleke was like the songs of that period in the year. And then a couple of weeks later, I heard this other song that again blew me away called One Nation Under a Groove. I bought the 45, and mind you, I did not know the connection between Parliament and Funkadelic because I hadn't seen
Right.
them live at that time. So I'm looking at the 45 and I'm like, there goes those names again. George Clinton, Gary Scheider, blah, 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 blah. So by the time I bought a couple of their albums by this, but by the time they did Motor Booty Affair, it was a complete wrap. That was it. I was done. This was my band that I was going to hold closest to my heart among other R&B soul and funk bands. This was the one that was going to be closest to my heart. I took the next year, 1979, to scour the cutout bins to find older albums that were at discount prices. And I know you can tell them yourself, Zach. There was a time when you could get Maggot Brain for $7. That's how much I paid for my original first copy. Now you couldn't get Maggot Brain, a first copy, first edition, for no less than $150. It's gotten insane right now.
Yeah, you're right. And see, thank God, because I have a 19-year-old daughter and a 15-year-old, and thank God they're getting back into vinyl. Because there's something about that album, Maggot Brain, that I love. Like listening to it on CD, whatever you put it on or whatever, Spotify, this and that. But it's something about putting that on. And you know what I'm saying? It's something about that, man.
Of course. Absolutely. And on top of that, that was the first album that I ever saw where the album came out through the middle, not the side. Did you ever notice that when you open up, you can get the record from the middle gatefold, not on the side like you usually do with most albums.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
Even that little thing just kind of got me like, wow, this is so different. So yeah, by the time 1979 went around, not only it was a very fortunate time for somebody to discover their music because you can go into those cutout bins, get all those Funkadelic and Parliament albums really cheap, and then still have new releases to look forward to almost from what it seemed like every other month. I think during like 1978 and 79, P-Funk was releasing, somebody in P-Funk was releasing an album. I think in those years, there was like 6 albums in a calendar year. That's an album every other month. We were spoiled, rotten.
Yeah, we were. Yeah, and we could hear the progression musically.
Thank you. Exactly. We were able to embrace that progression, and also it was like they didn't even give you time to appreciate one album. But by the time you finally wrapped your head around one of their albums, another P-Funk act dropped one of their projects. We were so spoiled that I don't think people understand that. Even Beatles fans, even when the Beatles were saturating the market in 1964 and 65, it wasn't as the same as P-Funk putting out an album on average every other month. That's just ridiculous.
And you're absolutely right. And today we're hanging out with Funk from the Front Seat, P-Funk archivist, historian, True Funk ambassador, Club Funk soldier ambassador, Boosie Collins, Club Funketeer ambassador. This brother's my brother from another mother on Funk from the Front Seat right now. 9 on the Grind TV, even though YouTube pulled that, but I'm still Zach Robinson TV. Yo, they been messing with me hard, bro. As if I ain't got enough problems.
Okay, thank you.
But I wanted to add something, and then I wanted your comments on it. And please stay active on the chat line, you guys, please. When we were growing up like that, there weren't a lot of Black positivity to gravitate to. We had our movement, yes, Martin Luther King and them, Malcolm, Medgar, Black Panthers, this and that. Then we had our sports heroes, and that was it because there weren't a lot of Black people in politics. So there weren't a lot of Black actors. There weren't Sidney Poitier, Bill Cosby, maybe Cicely Tyson, a few people on TV, but that was it. So we didn't have. So for me, and I want you to answer this question, for me, the whole Parliament, Parlia Funkadelic thing became my heroes. I identified with their ashy knees, their nappy heads, their skinny legs, their big lips. They looked like me. They talk shit like me. They curse like me. I was like,
Exactly.
yo, these are my heroes, and they're on albums. So
Thank
your
you.
opinion.
Thank you. You put it together so succinctly. That's exactly what it was. Not only that, but because they didn't have, from what it seems like, or at least to me, they didn't have an ounce of that, what I like to call that crossover gloss that other black acts had to secure black and then later on pop airplay. They just didn't have that. Their music, I'm going to even go a little farther, and you might even push back on me with this. I don't think any of those songs had any business, or at least the hits, had any business being played on the radio. Those records were loud, rowdy. It looked, they seemed somewhat disorganized, but that was the beauty of it. They were not organized in the same way that every other black artist played on black radios came off as. They were.
Yes.
It was just totally. And by the way, I want to make sure that's what I love about that band.
Exactly. See, you know what was cool? And I want to just read this comment by Christine. Thank you so much. With all due respect, I watched the treatment of vinyl with so much disrespect. You are so correct, love. The middle protects. That's how I put it inside. I've searched for seal promo, so I have the Funkalicious tribute to all the artists. Thank you so much, because you're right. And I think people that are historians such as yourself, Christine, and Tim, I think you guys really appreciate the fact that there is a certain way to do certain things with albums. I sold 4 crates during COVID, but I still have 4 crates left. I didn't sell off my P-Funk eyes and stuff like that. But yeah, no, I didn't. But I wanted to say you're right, because that funkadelic music, I heard it by hanging out with the older winos while they was drinking wine. And I was like, they was like, yo, we're going to let you hear something. And then I was like, well, I can't find it. I had to go to farmer's market, like you said, look in the crates. So in a way, it gave us that own identity. As Afro-Americans, we were downtrodden anyway. So I was like, hey, this don't even belong on ABC or Dick Clark. I saw it on Soul.
Okay. Exactly. We just, it's so hard, You're trying to, you're trying to embrace this band. You're trying to tell people, that other stuff is nice, but you got to get with Funkadelic. Funkadelic is the consciousness of the funk movement. And if you don't understand that, then you're not going to be able to approach the music in the way that you need to in order to embrace it fully. You have to understand that. You have to understand, other bands, before P-Funk, I would always think like, James and Sly were like the early pioneers. But if you really want to talk about the person who, the one individual who represents the consciousness of funk music itself, that's George Clinton. There's just no way of getting around that. That's George, that's Bootsy, that's, basically Bernie Worrell. Everybody that played a heavy role in the development of this music represents its consciousness. And
that's right. And see, a lot of people don't know, but they're now come to find out. Thanks to P-Funk Radio and Philly Phil Funk Bus, Robin Circle P, Funkster Jones, they have been turning people on to the Tajes of the world, the Eddie Hazels of the world, the Billy Bass Nelsons of the world, the early funk that gave George and Bootsy and Bernie the extra creative platform, and they had George and Bootsy's Bernie's back. So it was almost like they were a gang within the gang within the gang.
Yes.
And that's what I love, because I was all about the music. I never wanted to fight and do all that other stuff. I just wanted to just give me something I can listen to, and then I'll be good.
You just touched upon it. Funk saved our lives in a lot of ways.
Yes, it did. Yes, it did.
We didn't when I discovered this music, I wasn't. It kind of cut down or diminished my hanging out on the streets. Why? Because I was in my basement, not only listening to these records, but reading those ridiculous Pedro Bell Crazoid liner notes. When I we were studying. It's like we were studying the music while grooving to the music. I don't know. There's a lot of artists that can give you that position of studying the music while listening to it, while grooving to it, and that's why I didn't spend a lot of time on the streets. I was always in the house, studying those minor notes, and that's what kept me out of trouble. And that's why I say, in a lot of ways, P-Funk saved my life, and it probably saved yours as well. At least it saved our sanity.
Yo, let me tell you something, man, right? My dad was a minister, and I knew one day,
God, come on.
I'm a PK, bro. That explains a lot, right? I knew one day in my heart of hearts, I was going to be doing stuff like this with brothers like you and sisters that's on the chat. I knew it because I was like, well, I saw my father preach in church and bring people to tears. I was like, I'll never be able to do that. So when I said, but the guy behind him playing the drums, I can do that.
Okay.
See what I'm saying? So in a way, it was spiritual for me. I even told my band the other day, I was like, yo, this is a funk ministry. Bootsy and George showed us it's a funk ministry. Glenn Goins, Swing Down Sweet Chariot, Bernie Worrell, All the Woo, Eddie Hazel. It goes on, and Mike Hampton, on and on and on and on. All the girls, all the brides. And Dawn, congratulations on your new book, by the way. Exactly. I'd love to have you come on the show. We ain't going to talk about nothing you don't want to talk about. I just want you on the show, sweetie, because I love you and I need you. And thank you, Christina, for your beautiful comments. Keep them coming. But yeah, man, so tell me how you felt about Parliament Funkadelic, the Parlia Funkadelic thing becoming a political force in the lives of Black people.
See, that's the thing. We're not talking about somebody that was overtly political, but they were political enough that you could touch upon, or you could see where they were coming from without it coming across as political. I think the closest thing that I've ever seen George, I mean, obviously, you were talking about, Chocolate City, that's pretty upfront. And, that's a kind of an exception. That's a pretty upfront political position for them to take with a ridiculous, marvelous backbeat, I might add. But in terms of direct political involvement, I think the earliest I remember is one time, I was attending a P-Funk show. I should say P-Funk experience. It's never a show. It's never entertainment.
Church.
Thank you. They were at the Ritz in Manhattan. No, I'm sorry. Let me correct that. It was the Roxy, March 23rd, 1984. And that was like it was a great thing because I won tickets through WBLS to go to that.
Oh, show. Wow, BLS.
I know, right? That was ridiculous.
Frankie
Crocker, the Chief Rocker. Yes, indeed.
Ken Webb.
Thank you. What? Stop it. You're going to go into another rabbit hole.
I know, bro. I know the people.
That's going to bring us into another conversation for another time. What was it? I was at that show, and at the very end of the show, this was like in 1984. So Jesse Jackson's campaign was up and running. And
Run, Jesse, run.
Yep. And he was like, at the end, I remember George saying, go register, and you know who to vote for. See, he's not putting it out there. He's not putting it out there direct, but he's putting it out there enough to the degree that you know what he's talking about, you know who he's talking about. That's what made it so great. He didn't have to be direct. It was like, I know what you're trying to say. You're trying to say, you're not trying to tell us how to think. You're just telling us to think. Be critical thinkers. Think it ain't illegal yet. That's exactly what I got out of that whole slogan.
I'm probably a little bit older than you, and I can add to that. And we're hanging out today with Tim Kinley, Funk from the Front Seat, man. My producer, Mr. Mark Lee. We love you guys out there, so stay active. And, we're always around. You can find us, man. I had heard I had heard Testify, which my father let me listen to because it was like about God. And he's like, who's that? I was like, that's Parliament, 45. So that was cool. And, he let me listen to Sly and Brown and this and that and all the gospel records. But I brought home, actually, I kind of don't want to say this, but I took one of my friends' Funkadelic albums without him knowing it. Because, bro, he just had it. He didn't know what he had. I took from Rest His Soul, I love you. Tyrone Jenkins had America Eats His Young.
Oh, wow.
Dude. So I listened to it, And we would go over there, party, and I listened to it. And then I heard Wake Up, and I heard all of these crazy songs, March from the Witch's Castle. So I asked older people what that was about, because I didn't know nothing about Vietnam, although it had just gotten over 2 years prior to that.
Right.
So they told me about the story of the soldiers and marching and march back to the Witch's Castle, which was the United States. And I was like, oh, that's what they talk about.
Right.
And the guitars moaning. And I started to cry. And I was like, wow, this is special.
Yes,
you know? And then I went back and studied, and that was my political introduction to the funk.
Exactly. You bring up America Hates Us Young. That was an album I always loved and dug, but I didn't truly understand it until it came out on CD.
Yeah.
You know the deal. You bring on a double record set, you gotta turn that bad boy over at least 3 times to get to the whole thing. And sometimes that break in continuity can affect the way you are absorbing the music. That didn't happen with the CD. The CD was on, they were able to fit one album on one double record set on one CD. That means you're hearing it uninterrupted. And when I heard it uninterrupted, I said to myself, this is the greatest non-black exploitation soundtrack ever made. No question about it.
P-Funk, we all go back and forth about our favorite greatest, but that's on my Mount Rushmore. I'm sorry. That's on my Mount Rushmore for me, along with P-Funk Live at the Beverly. Because when Dennis and Skeet got there, I was like, okay, you automatically, boom. It was almost like Michael Jordan came in, you Mount Rushmore.
Yes, exactly.
What the LA? I heard it one time, bro. I called my friends. I was like, yo, here it is.
Yes. I heard that album before it was an album. I heard it as the radio broadcast. And oh my God, I ran home. I was hanging out with some friends, and they turned into Kiss FM, and Kiss FM was playing it. And I was like, oh,
yes. They used to do concerts.
Yes, the Budweiser concert hour. Yes.
Friday nights. I remember that.
Yep. I heard that.
Dude.
Oh,
you just took me back.
When I heard that, I
got
ran
the
home. Brother, I ran home. I was jetting home like FloJo. And I got the clip, the closest cassette to me, plopped it in the tape deck, and I just recorded the whole thing. And I'll tell you right now, I ran that thing all through the summer of 1983. And the thing was, the part 2 of that performance, of that experience, was broadcasted during like a couple of weeks later during the summer, and I was able to catch that from the very beginning.
Yeah.
And I tell you right now, from that moment on, that I'm surprised that tape didn't break.
I tell you, man. And see, we've been on for like 20 minutes or so, and already we've talked about 5 or 6 or 7 different time periods in the funk.
Thank you.
So that's why I tell people, listen, everybody got their favorites. But if this is not one of the greatest experienced bands in the world, I don't know who is.
I think I will always say, because I know there are other bands that may have had more influence and all that, but just think about that. They have no. I'll break it down. Can you give me some room for 1 second?
Dude, you do you.
If we are going to assess all of the movers and shakers in popular Black music from the start of what we can call the rock and roll era, from 1955 on down, every mover and shaker has met one particular criteria. They've all scored either top 10 songs on the Billboard Hot 100 or top 10 albums on the Billboard Top 200 album chart. At some point in their career, all of those movers and shakers are creating music that is being consumed by, let's just say it, white America. Let's just put it out there. Every one of those movers and shakers did that except for Parliament Funkadelic. No top 10 singles, no top 10 albums, no Grammy nominations, no American Music Award nominations, not even an NAACP Image Award nomination. No cover stories on Rolling Stone, no cover stories on People or any of the pop culture mags. They simply did not penetrate the white pop consciousness in the way that other black movers and shakers have done. And yet, fast forward to 2023, Parliament Funkadelic is constantly observed as one of the most influential bands of the rock and roll era.
And the audience have come around. That's why I love all my young people out there. So thank you guys. Hip hop, and George said that in his book, hip hop, and Gary said this too. I talked to Gary once. He said, man, thank God for hip hop. He said, that's what saved us.
Thank you.
Because I drove Gary Scheider home, the late, great, amazing Gary Scheider from the airport once. I love that man. Oh my God. I just talked to Linda yesterday. And he told me, man, we was talking about music, this and that, and he said, man, he said, if it wasn't for hip hop and them young boys, he called them young boys. If it wasn't for them young boys with that hip hop, he said, man, we wouldn't have been able to reboot as quickly. They would have. George would have figured out a way, and Bootsy, of course. But see, Bootsy had already kind of rebooted, when he started working with Delight and all of them. So he was ahead of the reboot curve. He saw that coming. You know what I'm saying?
Not to mention,
he's like, but see, George, when he rebooted, it was like, again, underground movement. And, he had to change the sounds. And Gary Scheider said, man, that's why we had to do Atomic Dog the way we did it. He said at first, the real hardcore Funkadelic people wasn't sure if they was going to dig it because it didn't have live shit on it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like the full band. But then he told me, he said, but we were always listening and thinking about the future. So he said, once we heard how that electronic thing could be done, he said they just flipped it to the funk. And see, when they did Atomic Dog, that was, to me, bang. And then at the same time, P-Funk All-Stars, that kind of was the next brick.
Yes.
And that's what helped bands like the Nappy Head Funk Army. So, man, I love y'all for that, Funkadelic,
Yeah, of course. Absolutely. Everything you just said was 100% correct. I think that I can always, it's always a trade-off. They're using their samples. They're using P-Funk samples. But we all know, you've never heard a rap hit that was a cappella. Those rap records do the damage on the dance floor that they do because of those samples. They know what records are going to move that crowd align with their raps. And most of the time, 90% of the time, 98% of the time, is always funk music. I always thought, because I don't know where you stand on rap music right now.
I love it. I don't like the new stuff. I don't like anything bad, but right. I'm a Pac fan, Biggie fan, from that,
Exactly. From the 90s, from the golden era. And it's like when the funk divorces, when the rap music divorced itself from the funk, well, that was pretty much a rap for me. Because it was those funk samples that were really driving home their lyrical their lyrical magic. When you think of somebody like if you take a James Brown sample, you could take a James Brown drum break, isolate it, put other music around it, and damn near make a totally different song out of it.
Yep.
Whereas with P-Funk, you can't do that. You're sampling actual music, not drum beats. You're sampling parts of an actual track. A good example of that would be the Humpty Dance by Digital Underground. They had to arrange the lyrics of that song to fit the sample that they were using, which was Let's Play House, which was featured on Trump Repilation in 1980. So it wasn't a thing where they could just lick the song and just rap over it. They had to contour their raps around that music.
Yeah, you're right. And see, and Tim, you're such a historian and such a brilliant funk artist. I call them funk artists because we're artists and also, whatever else you do. But I had to come up with new names to describe people.
Exactly. Okay, I got you.
But I think too, the when I heard "Don't Push Me," I'm Close to the Edge, Grandmaster Flash. When that first came out, that song hit me in a way, and I was like, damn. That's pretty funky. And then, Eric B. and Rakim and Eric Sermon, all them. And Redman was the first rapper I heard on the East Coast using P-Funk stuff. When I heard Redman, I was like, oh, so he's like, because he's from New Jersey. And he was like, Booyah Funkadelic dropped all his stuff And I was like, you know what these rappers are doing? I told my friends then. They said, oh, rap ain't gonna stay. I was like, yo, this stuff is here to stay. I said, so you better get used to it, embrace it. I loved it.
Thank you.
Because the smart rappers were able to capture the feel. They hit that feel. It wasn't the sample of the music. They felt something. And Bernie Worrell himself should be a quadrillionaire just for the stuff he did.
And don't get me started. Not only should he have been a millionaire or whatever else, Clyde Stubblefield should never have had doctor's bills. Now, give Prince credit; he paid all of his doctor bills at one point, which is the least you could have done. But think about this. Think about what would have happened if Clyde Stubblefield would have gotten writer's credits for Funky Drummer. He'd be one of the richest men in the world today. No question about it.
Yeah.
But yet, but because he wasn't in those writers' credits, all he got was the fee that he would get for playing on that studio track. But if he had been what sense does it make that Funky Drummer does not have Clyde Stubblefield in the writing credits? That doesn't make any sense. That's ridiculous. And if we're going to go back to, because I know you were talking about all the rappers that you were talking about, no one, as far as I'm concerned, no one can stand anywhere near Rakim, for whom, for me, is the greatest rapper that ever picked up a mic. And
he's on my Mount Rushmore. I got Eminem up there too.
If you know rap music, then you have to put this man on a Mount Rushmore of rap easily. If the one way that I always assess the quality of a rapper, back in the day, back in the golden age of rap, you had a lot of these 12-inch singles in which one of the mixes was always an a cappella mix. It was just his just the rapper's voice with no music. If that version, if the a cappella version still makes you dance, that means that rapper is one of the greatest that ever lived. And that's what it is about Rakim. Strip the music, strip the samples from I Ain't No Joke, and just listen to his raps. It's insane. It's insane. His delivery is insane. His lyrical flow is insane. It's just ridiculous.
It is. See, that's why too. Public Enemy, they on my Mount Rushmore too.
Of course. Before Public Enemy, we were sporting all these big gold chains and medallions of very questionable origin, I might add. But after Public Enemy, what do we start sporting? African medallions and stuff that reflects our African or cultural heritage. Even if that period was a fleeting one for a moment in time during the rap music domination, they were able to point young African Americans into a direction that was self-reflective and made them want to know more about themselves. I don't know of a lot of forms of music that can make you want to do something like that.
We got some shout outs I want to give, Zelda and James, of course. Love you guys. Alex, Curtis P, yo, bro, you got to get on the show soon. Rob Harper, man, thank you so much. Mark S. Turner and Melissa, thank you so much. Christina, thank you so much. All you guys, man, always help, give me my little boost on these Saturdays that I need them. And I really, really appreciate you guys. James Jones, you're always there. Mark, we're hanging out today, and I want to give my producer, Mr. Mark Lee, who basically had to learn a brand new StreamYard format in about 10 minutes. So thank you for that, Mark.
Exactly.
We're hanging out today with Mr. Tim Kenley. So, Mark, we're going to bring you on in a second with some of these photos, but I'm going to let Tim set up the second part of his actual, P-Funkadelica archivist kind of stuff. And Tim, we're going to fast forward. We jumped into the rap thing, which was great because, again, we know what the foundation is. And when I do my funk shows down here in North Carolina, man, I'm so grateful that my audience is Latino, it's white, it's Asian, it's black, it's German,
right.
It's French, it's this, lesbian, gay, straight. I want it all because I know that's what Bootsy wants me to do. That's what George wants me to do. Shout out to Tony Cam, by the way. If funking it up New Year's, y'all. Y'all better come through. But anyway, man, yeah, I'm gonna let you set this up. Tell us how you got into the archivist position with the funk, and then we're gonna start putting some of these photos up because we got a lot to go through.
Well, when I first embraced the music, I just started attending art design high school on 57th Street in Manhattan, and right across the street from art design was this newsstand that was, I guess, looking back on it, that newsstand was better than it deserved to be. Because the one time I went there, the first time I went there were a couple of magazines, a couple of music magazines that they had posted. And for whatever reason, George was on the cover of all those magazines. And I was like, good God, can this group be any more photogenic? I went back, got every one of those magazines, which by the way, are still in the archives today. And I got to give a quick shout out to the love of my life, Miss Donna McCoy, who helps me, really oversee the archives in the most intelligent way possible. So love you, Donna, always. And from that moment on, I caught every magazine that had George on the cover. And it was usually Rock and Soul Magazine. Rock and Soul Magazine was just amazing in their coverage of Parliament Funkadelic. It was almost like a P-Funk fanzine.
It was.
Yeah, you know the deal. Shoot, you've seen those covers. They're like, they were colorful, they were bright, and they were like, wow.
It was happening.
Thank you.
Because the only other photo I had ever seen of Funkadelic was in Jet magazine, and it was like the size of a driver's license. I was like, it was some guy in a cat mask, and I was like, that's it? That's all they're going to give me?
Thank you. And then you had, I need to ask you a question. How did you feel when George landed on the cover of Jet?
Yo, when that happened, I knew I was there because I was in the barbershop. That's where I used to get the Jet from. Mm-hmm. And I was like, all right, we in. We in now. Finally, we in. Yes. I don't got to look at, no offense to the Johnson's hair products, but, they was on the cover enough. I had seen Michael Jackson on the cover, Gladys Knight, Aretha Franklin, the Pips, this and that. I was like, when they going to put Jimi Hendrix and George Clinton and Boosie on the covers?
Yep, and then they heard you. It's like, wait a minute, Zach is giving us some.
Yeah, they knew.
So let me. That's right, because Boosie, along with Shaka Khan and Maurice White,
yes,
landed on the cover of Ebony.
Yes.
George got on the cover of Jet, and I was like, well, I guess that's it. Because let's face it, Jet was slightly had a slight bourgeois bent, and you thought. I think P-Funk was too street for them, but even then, even in 1978, even they couldn't ignore Parliament Funkadelic's power in the hood. They just couldn't. They couldn't.
It was too powerful. It was too powerful.
So let's see this. So
Mark, Mr. Lee, indulge us with all of your complicated work that you did this morning for us, sir, please.
Yeah, where's Mark? He can't hide forever.
Nah, you need to come on and then we're gonna let Tim narrate these pictures. Now, Mark, we're gonna go through them not quickly, but expeditiously, if there's such a word.
Okay. Oh wow, that's Robert Wilson from the Gap Band. Rest in peace. This, oh wow, I forget what gig this was at. I was walking. Sir knows, my man Curtis, my man Carlos McMurray got us backstage, and I'm walking backstage where all the vans are at, and somebody yells out, Tim. I was like, who's calling me? And it turned out to be Carlon. So I walked over to the van, and Carlon and George are sitting there, and I'm telling him, we're getting ready to get you to the library here in Columbia, which was a great event. And then we were able to snap this photo. I liked it. I love this photo. I always love photos.
I thought that was a classic, bro. That's like, yo.
That's it. That's it right there. Cordell Boogie Monsoon, the world's one of the two black leprechauns in Parliament Funkadelic. When I went to that man's funeral, they had a band playing, and dude, I'm telling you now, if you walked into that church, you would have thought you were at another P-Funk show at Madison Square Garden, not a funeral. it was absolutely impossible to leave that ceremony sad. I was energized by it. I've never had any. I've been to a number of funerals of P-Funk members, and I don't remember any funeral service lifting up my spirit. I never saw that before. And I was like, thank you. Thank you, Boogie Monsoon, for all you did for the funk.
That's right. And one thing I can really add really quick is that I know when a musician usually transitions on, a lot of times it's sadness, but it turns into a celebration simply because all of us belong to a fraternity. And that's that funk,
Exactly.
it's what we do. So they would want us to keep funking.
Exactly. This picture was first appeared in Guitar Player magazine back in 1991. Just to let you know.
Oh, okay, great. Yeah, Guitar Player. Okay, great. That's what's up, man.
Another glorious rock and soul image of.
Told you I was going to surprise you, bro.
Jeez. That was taken in the middle of a photo shoot that they were doing at the South Sea Streetport in 1978. He was hanging out with our man Tom Vickers, the former Minister of Information for Parliament Funkadelic, and I always remember because I remember this suit. That suit, obviously, like every one of his pieces of ghostly haberdashery, is just outrageous, and that's why that's why I can easily remember this. The Purple Woo himself, Mr. Bernie Worrell. This picture first appeared in an issue of Keyboard magazine. It was later on in the year. What can one say? Bernie is not a musician. Bernie is a musical technician. I've witnessed this man on stage. This was at the Ritz in 2000. He was doing a number of gigs with P-Funk, and you can just see him. He was walking around, tighten up the drums, tune up that guitar, do this, do that, and obviously it made the difference. His musical ear is just insane. I
got a chance to talk to him a few times, and the one lengthy conversation I had was upstate where they used to rehearse at, but I won't give that location away.
Right.
In Newburgh. But he talked to me. He said, "Man, you got a beautiful, gentle soul. He said some really kind things to me, right?" And I asked him, I was like, I know you was writing like sonatas and stuff at age 4. And I said, I heard you wanted to be a baseball player. He's like, yeah, man. He said, my mother made me play piano. He said, but I used to want to go out and play baseball. But the one thing he told me was that he said, listen, everybody thinks there's separate entities in the music thing. He said, it's all one thing. He said, if I'm playing a line and I hear opera, I'm going to add opera to it on the phone. If I'm playing a line and I hear a jazz thing should go there, I'm going to add it. He said, I don't make it separate. He said, that's why I guess I said your uniqueness and what you do. But he says, yeah, I just play whatever I feel.
Right.
And he plays colors. He said, I play the colors.
Thank you. Exactly. That's why.
It changed my whole perspective.
That's why Parliament Funkadelic comes off. A lot of their music comes off so symphonic. That's Bernie. You know what I'm saying? I don't know of other funk bands that really had that classical music edge that Bernie gave P-Funk. You know what I'm saying?
Because if you listen to how he would modulate, and they're playing, and then he's in behind it, he's modulating, dropping keys, going to flatted fifths, double D's, and this and that, just to make it all fit in there in that creative funk space. Genius.
See, that's the thing. You're an instrumentalist. I'm probably the only person that I know of deeply into this music that doesn't play an instrument. So when you say modulate, obviously everything you're saying is going straight over my bald head.
Changing keys. Changing keys.
Okay. Thank you for simplifying.
I usually don't know nothing that everybody else knows. So. That's my one.
Okay. He said, well, he's modulating. I was like, well, you know. Okay, I got you. Okay, this is one of the few pictures of George in the Sir Nose costume that appeared in not only his own book, but it also appeared in another George Clinton book written by a man named Chris Needs. I believe this tape was taken around 1978. I think it was at a party somewhere. But I'd have to go back. But go ahead. Next picture.
Thank you, Mark. I'm buying you lunch today. Right?
Gary Scheider.
In his essence.
Oh my God.
Right?
I had one last conversation with this man before he transitioned. And
I saw that picture.
And that's what he talked. He was talking to me about wanting me to work on a project with him, but Gary was so vague about what he wanted to do that I did not understand why he wanted me to be involved and what was the extent of my involvement in whatever project he was planning. And I really wish that it would have came to fruition. This picture was first published in a hardcover book called The Year in Music 1978. This has always been one of my favorite photos of Gary Scheider, mainly because, he's looking lean. His hair is just like
the process, bro. He's rocking the process.
I'm telling you, like he just left George's barbershop. Hello. Are you kidding me? But yeah, it's all right. So yeah, but Gary, I mean, come on. What do you say about one of the co-pilots of the mothership? Here we go. This picture was taken at tribute for our main man, Mr. Joel Razor Sharp Johnson of Boosie's Rubber Band. Boosie has sponsored a benefit for him. I forget the name of the club, but it was so wild, because this was taken right at the side of the stage while everybody else was playing. And then, of course, Boosie himself got up on stage and, started doing his thing as well. That was a great night.
A lot of people didn't even know Razor was ill. He kept it to himself. Last time I seen Razor, it was at Rams Head in Maryland when they was playing, and he had just came out with the Funk Capital of the World, right? And I was talking to him, and then next thing I know, I was like, Dennis Chambers was there that night, whatever, right? And we was hanging out talking. And I didn't know the brother was sick, man. Yeah.
A lot of people are starting to, keep these things close to the vest.
As they should.
Yes, that's right. And as such, we should be respecting that.
That's right.
So yeah, rest in peace, Razor Sharp, great brother.
Joel.
Yes, absolutely. Ha ha!
Gotcha. Black and white.
Ooh.
The UN.
In front of the UN, September 1977. I believe, would you believe September 11th, 1977? Okay, right in front of the UN, right after they played at the Garden in New York City. They took this picture while they were filming. They did the filming of the mothership in Times Square, and then they did that impromptu concert right in front of the UN. And apparently they didn't, from what I'm hearing, they didn't have permits or anything. They set up, played, and then got out.
They did. They didn't have no permits because it was in the newspaper. Mothership lands at the UN 4 a.m. in the morning.
Thank you. Thank you.
I loved it.
Thank you.
That was the grit and grime and the street dirt that P-Funk had. I loved it. I was like, yo, these I got to say it just like this. I was like, yo, these have just took over New York City.
Thank you. You want to try? You have these radio stations not giving P-Funk the support that other radio stations give? Well, we're gonna land this station right in your backyard.
You want to funk around with me?
Thank you. Try that with us.
That's right.
Okay, we got that Bob gun ready to shoot anybody standing in our way.
Dope. That's right.
There we go. Here we go. Next picture. Okay, you got Bernie. Yeah, we already did Bernie.
There she is.
God, I miss this woman.
Me too.
Look at that picture. This picture was taken, I believe, at a gig in Maryland in 1997.
Royalty.
She almost looks like and it's not taking anything away from her to say that she looks like a wax photo, but look at her face. Yeah. It's like it almost looks beyond human. Like
it's royalty.
Exactly. I loved what she did with Brainstorm and with P-Funk. She gives that Billie Holiday type edge to a lot of what they do on stage, which is something I love.
Very, very underrated, but funk kept her alive. But Brainstorm, I even turned my lady onto this. I said, you go back and listen to Brainstorm and how they was doing and they was jamming from Detroit. I said, Brainstorm was some badass boys. And
Yes.
when she sang, the way she sang, other than Mother's Finest, Chaka Khan, this and that, Joyce and this and that, very few female lead singers can lead sing and pull a band, not like Diana Ross and the Supremes. No, this is Belita Woods. This is Chaka Khan. This is Joyce. Very few Sade. These women that are so powerful, and women are the strongest people on the planet, by the way. They can pull a band. You know what I'm saying? They can pull a whole freaking funk thing. When Belita sings and she went into that sentimental journey, it was a wrap.
Of course. Absolutely. And if you can do what you're talking about with a band the size of P-Funk, well, then you got to be one of the baddest singers out there, right?
Love you, B.
Yes.
She fried me fish once in the hotel room.
Damn.
For real. It was me. It was Amuka. It was Dawn. It was Belita. It was Clip. It was Boogie. And she was frying fish.
Wow. See, that's P-Funk right there.
I got a few stories that I keep zipped.
And just wait for moments like this, right?
Yeah, but I don't tell the details.
Okay. There we go. Here we go. Mr. Edward Earl Hazel.
And I got to ask you after this. I got a question about this.
About this picture?
Go ahead.
Yeah, okay. This is for the photo sessions for the album, his only album while he was alive, Game Dames and Guitar Things.
Great album.
Released on July 29th, 1977. An amazing record. Again, we got to talk about this, about how a record that did not sell at the time that it was first released now is this ridiculous collector's item that people pay $100 for in terms of the vinyl, or people pay good money for it even on CD. So I mean, there's nothing you can say that would be enough in terms of what Eddie Hazel brings to Problem in Funkadelic.
Man, let me tell you, that California Dreamin' version made me cry every time. But my question is, who are those girls in the back?
Okay. From what I've been able to ascertain from the people in P-Funk, those were just regular models. From what they told me, those just regular models that were there for the photo shoot, but they didn't have anything connected to the band or anything else.
Because at first I thought one was Dawn.
Yeah, Dawn, she came on and she was like, no, that ain't us.
Okay, good. Because I was going to be like, yo, Dawn, is that you way back there? And then I was like, yo, they photobombing Eddie. I was like, yo.
I know, right?
Beaming in from their mothership.
That's it.
Eddie Hazel, Mount Rushmore, y'all.
Are we lucky to have such a nice, clear picture of Eddie? A nice color photo?
You're the reason, bro. Tim Kenley. I want y'all to know this is the brother that be archiving, one of the few brothers, James Jones and everybody, all these brothers and sisters that are keeping us alive. We have to support you.
I thank you for that. I want that support to be mutual because I want to support the funk. It's because the funk has supported me for so long. You know what I'm saying? What do we have next?
Bring Cheryl in, Mark. Bring her in the house.
Another photo of.
We'll let her ride.
Okay, another photo of Belita. Oh, okay. Oh, hello.
Another Funky Tea ambassador. Cheryl, hang out, all right? We're running behind schedule, so hang out with us, all right, love?
No problem. I got you.
Okay. This is backstage, I believe, I believe this is either at a show in New York or New Jersey. Yeah, that's right. No, I know. It is a show in New York because his photo was cropped. There was another woman who really didn't have any business being in the picture, so I cropped her out, and we were hanging backstage. Yeah, right.
Cut her out.
Okay, come on. First of all, why were you backstage? And second of all, why are you in this picture? So we just cut her out, and she's edited out of Prime history. But that backstage at BB King's, which became a main hub for P-Funk after the demise of Tramps. I don't know if you remember Tramps.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
And that was, that's another. It wasn't the greatest club, but they certainly got a lot of funk giants.
Yo, let me tell you, Tramps, all of those clubs in that era around that time, as they were leaving, that was the first demise that I knew funk was getting ready to die in New York.
Yeah.
Izzy Bar, the Knitting Factory.
Yeah.
But hey, we still here though. You can't kill us.
Hey, thank you. You may try as hard as you can, but no, we ain't going nowhere. All right. Oh,
Mark, skip over that one for a minute because you got the unedited version. Thank you.
Okay. Boogie at a show, I believe it was the Ritz in New York City, April 23rd, 1993.
Wow.
Amazing show.
It's amazing how you remember dates, places. Dude, tell me you ain't from my planet. We got the bald head and everything.
Thank you. I had to sacrifice my hair for this good memory, okay? Because I tell you right now, my short-term memory is shot to hell. My long-term memory, oh, it's in there. It's in there. So what's next? What's next?
Mark, what else you got? We see this one. Oh, here we go.
Another glorious rock and soul cover.
P-Funk Lands Inside.
That this is not. A lot of times when you buy a magazine, you're going to look through it first and to determine whether they're going to buy it or not. That wasn't even the case. The minute I saw Bootsy on, it's like, yep, that's it. That's it.
Yo, look at Bootsy though. Look, he's like, yo, y'all better get on this.
Yes.
I love it.
Yes. The audience is talking to us. That's all right. Oh, this is a great thing. This is something I always meant to do, and I finally got to do it. I got to do it with Bootsy, and then I was able to do it with George. To sit down with this man, pick his brain, which is complex in itself, and really have a nice time, a nice sit down. Because out of any musician, any figure in the music business that had the biggest effect on me, it's this man right here. I'm not even going to try to deny it. Between him and Bootsy, him and Bootsy were the ones that they were the ones who taught me how to be a critical thinker, a deep thinker, and a broad thinker. That's
right. Same here. Mark, we're going to do a couple more. Then I want to get Cheryl's opinion on. I want her to give her thoughts on Veterans Day, women of color, and that kind of thing. We're going to continue with Tim. Oh yeah. Yeah.
Wow. I thought this
I got you. I dream a genie. No, you wasn't getting away with this. I got you.
Wow. This picture was taken at a Comic-Con convention somewhere in Cherry Hill, New Jersey. How dedicated was I to that? I wanted to meet this woman. The train that went to this convention had to go from New Jersey to Philadelphia and then back to Jersey to get to that particular hotel. That's how determined I was to meet this woman.
Dude,
oh my God.
When I saw this, I was like, okay then. I was like, okay then. You in the bottle with the G.
Oh, good.
I was like, you gotta be.
Okay. That was
kidding, dude.
Who didn't if you're around that age, who didn't grow up watching I Dream of Jeannie reruns on the television?
That's like that paneling. That's like that paneling.
Yo, please, Cheryl, don't make me spit up. Paneling. My boy Jeff the other day told me post office. I don't know what, maybe I'm getting senile. Certain words now to me are sticking in me like claws.
There you go.
Paneling.
Okay. This picture, I believe, was taken during the Japan Earth Tour in 1989. As you can see, you got hold on. You got Boogie and Gary in there. I would have loved to have gone to a P-Funk concert in Japan.
Man. I saw videos of it. It's crazy, bro.
Yes, it is. And that's why, because from what I know, Tower Records still exists in Japan. They have like 20 Tower Records in Japan. I was like, you got to be kidding me. You know how hard it is. I don't know where you are in proximity to the nearest record store. Do you even have record stores where you live right now?
Yeah. There's a couple. There's Vintage.
Right.
That's where I sold my albums at. There's a few, and the kids go in and out. And these young kids around here, because this is by Duke, NC Central, and UNC, so it's a little college thing. So they have appreciation of the music scene here.
That's good. That's so great. You know, I mean, I know that their interest in vinyl may be fleeting. We don't really know, but at least they're there.
Yeah.
You know,
Mark, we got a couple more. Then that's it.
there you go.
Oh yeah, I'll let you know.
I was able to get this off of eBay a couple of years ago, and I got George to sign it. I'd love to get Bootsy to sign it. In fact, I grew up with the brother of Jesse Ward Jr. from Brass Construction. This was one of those pre-mothership gigs. You know, I guess you kind of, all those 76 shows that came before October 1976 seems like kind of a test product, like a rehearsal for when they do land the ship.
A soft opening, yeah.
Exactly, and this is one of them. You know,
but you know what? When I looked at this poster, the thing that freaked me out the most, if you look in the upper right-hand corner, I don't know if my audience can see it, the price of the ticket.
Of course, those ticket prices were ridiculous considering what you were about to witness.
That's like $6.50.
Thank you.
I was like, you got what? $6. You seeing geniuses, Hall of Famers.
Thank you. Exactly.
$7.
Exactly. You know,
Yo, Cheryl, real quick, how much time do you have?
I got time.
Okay, good. Okay, great. Thank you.
Okay. Another Japan shot from 1989. A great color shot at
Look
that.
at George.
Okay.
Gary. That's classic.
I'm telling, and you know, 89, that was their first time going to Japan. And I know those Japanese funketeers must have jumped out of their skins witnessing this funk up close and personal.
They respected it more.
Of course. You know, my heart goes out to my main homegirl, Chifumi Ui. She was from Osaka. She was the one we used to trade videos for CDs. That woman let me tell you how funky this woman is. This woman had a gold tooth in the same way that Bootsy did. How many Japanese women do you know with a gold tooth? Thank you. Up front. Rest in peace.
All around the world for the funk.
Yes, rest in peace, Chifumi. She was a wonderful woman. Sheila E.
I told you, bro. I dug deep in your archives.
Brother Zach, I'm really going to need your support on this because we're trying to I've already talked to her people in regards to bringing her in for a small talk series like we did with George and Bootsy. So I'm going to need you to.
Bro, I've been trying, bro. And she was here 4 years ago. They played the ballpark of benefit, the politicians, and they wouldn't let me get back there. But I personally have reached out to her people to try to get her on this show for 5-10 minutes because so many female drummers now, little girls, are looking up to her. This woman, Mount Rushmore female drummers.
Thank you.
Are you kidding me?
Thank you.
This woman is one of the baddest people on the planet.
Thank you. This picture was taken backstage at the Apollo during the tribute to George Clinton that was done in 2011 with I don't know if you know what's her name, the woman that was behind that, Vivian Chu.
Okay.
She worked at Sony 550, and
yes.
She put that thing together. It was a great thing because it was done on the night before Bootsy's birthday. So Bootsy was there, Bernie was there, Lynn was there. It was a fantastic night. Probably the best night, the best example of funk celebrating itself. Purple
love, Sheila E. If you watching, man, your people, we just trying to do something. I don't even get paid for this.
Exactly. Okay, go ahead. Do your thing. Another picture of Cordell Boogie Monsoon.
Love it.
I believe this may have been 77. This picture was first published in a magazine called Grooves Magazine. You know, and it's very interesting how right after I posted this up, everybody's been taking this photo left and right.
And I was digging the Ampeg reflex cabinets in the back.
Oh man,
the Rickenbacker bass.
Now, some people told me I've heard that Rickenbacker isn't really good for funk. It's good for rock, but not necessarily for funk.
I only knew 2 funk players that played it: Boogie and Rick James.
That's right. That's right. Yeah.
And then later, Boogie started using. I never talked to him about it, but then he, went to the jazz.
Right.
But, yeah, I could never play one. The neck was so wide, I couldn't even get my hand around it.
Oh wow.
Yeah, big bass, heavy bass.
Did not know that about that. Okay, fine. Go ahead. All right. Do you think? I guess what you want to do? One last one or?
Keep going because Cheryl got time. She don't got to go.
Stop. Come on. This is one of the very few prominent articles that appeared in Right On magazine, which is a magazine that was nice, but it wasn't rock and soul. This was a very interesting article that Right On magazine did, but like I said, it was the articles in Right On were far and few between. It wasn't like Rock and Soul. Rock and Soul was the greatest magazine, one of the greatest magazines I've ever encountered in my life.
I wanted to ask Cheryl really quick. Jump on this, sweetie. And Cheryl's gonna be my co-host coming up soon, very soon after I get settled. When you were serving in the military, Cheryl, were these magazines and photos and pictures a way for you funkers in the military to stay connected? You're muted. Unmute.
I'm sorry. What was that question again?
I'll say when you were serving in the military and all the funketeers that are there that you met and came across, were these archive photos and magazines and pictures, were you guys staying and plugged into the funk because of this stuff back then?
Well, yeah, anytime we had anybody in the military that presented any kind of musical type performance or whatever, and there was a article or something listed on them, absolutely. I mean, you keep up with music based on what your culture was. So in the military, you got all cultures of music. And it's up to the people that love the music based on where you station and who you station around to keep stuff like that alive. Because we grew up with my brother Tony. He been doing Michael Jackson, James Brown all our life. So that's the music we grew up on. That's the music we danced to. Flashlight, all of that. We got about 5 different dances to Flashlight. And even though that wasn't Boosie's soul thing, as he grew out of himself and started becoming famous, we was jamming to his music. So it's always been a part of our life. And when I left to go in the military, that's the music that was on our tick and tape recorders.
Cheryl, can I ask you a question?
You sure can.
Where did you get these? Where were you able to get these magazines?
We couldn't get those particular magazines, but these particular magazines, you saw them when you were younger, and we didn't have possessions of them. It was more so our family members or people in the military that were part of the funk that knew about funkadelics. That's all you heard is the word funkadelic, and that's what people reacted to. So
okay, I was wondering about that because I was always wondering, like, where would service people be able to get these magazines? I mean, I guess it could be a thing of family members mailing you these magazines.
Family members, people that are part of the funk, or family members that are in that joined the military and knew and spoke of it. But specifically in the military, no, they wouldn't post it because that's, you pretty much what they call, you got to go through garrison to get stuff like this published through the military. It's a process. It's not just something they're going to put out. But us having it ourselves in our hands and providing and showing it to other people, yes, anything that we felt was pertinent for us, we showed it to people. And that's what they see. Mm-hmm.
What would really be nice is if there's some way, I would love for you to listen to. There are two interviews that the one done by George Clinton and one done by Calvin Simon for Armed Forces Radio. I don't know if you ever heard those recordings, but they did interviews with a man named Al G. So it would be. I think it would really be nice if you could hear those interviews.
Right. Armed Forces Network, we're very familiar with because when you
Right.
went overseas to Germany, that was the network that was the only network you could listen to. So if it played on that, you didn't have a choice but to see it because you have to watch the news being overseas.
Exactly. Okay. Good. Perfect.
And entertainment was our thing. We wanted to see something other than war stuff. We
Of
wanted to hear what's
course.
going on in the world in the United States.
Of course. Of course.
Only on Funk from the Front Seat are we bringing this together now, y'all. Exclusives. Go ahead, Mark.
Bootsy trying to be a member of Run DMC. Look at all that bling around his neck.
Yo, that was the era, bro.
Okay.
Yeah, changed his bass and everything.
Thank you. This was in Japan, 1992.
That's my guy.
There you go.
And our flag was still there, waving on while we danced. I got you.
Another Japanese publication
Yes.
doing the thing for the Brides of Funkenstein. A lot of the Japanese came out with a whole bunch of P-Funk tribute magazines back in like the early 90s when P-Funk started touring there. And sometimes the presentation that they had was breathtaking. Absolutely.
See, and that's what I'm talking about now. We was getting this, but over there, they were like, wow, you know, these people are like amazing. And over here, we was pushing it, supporting it. But I was always upset that, well, damn, how come I'm not hearing the Brides of Funkenstein on the radio? You know what I'm saying? How come I'm not hearing Paulette on the radio? You know, not just Disco to Go or Buy Texas from a Cowboy. I want to hear everything.
Right, exactly. Because those albums were just as badass as anything coming out of the P-Funk.
Not to mention all the P-Funk ladies. And there were like just as many. You know,
Exactly.
we're going to talk about that on another show one day.
Yes, absolutely.
That's what I'm trying to get done.
Huh. I believe this picture was taken at the Garden in 1977. Amazing. Good grief. I believe George is wearing the same hat that Mike was wearing.
Right.
In the Parliament Live gatefold.
Right. Exactly. Yep. I was at that show, by the way.
I know. Oh God, I know that.
That's the one where everybody stormed in and they had to bring the horses in the lobby of Madison Square Garden. And Gary was flying on the rope, flashlights swinging, violence going on. I was like, oh, this is Funkadelic, right?
And
People smoke everywhere. Acid being dropped.
Oh,
yeah,
Lord.
this is Funkadelic at his best.
And no matter how much chaos was going on, you were like, this is the only place I want to be right now.
Next, Mark. Okay, one more. Great, good. We made it.
That's it. Perfect.
One more.
Ha! George dipping into the box of ghostly haberdashery in 1978. Good grief.
See, these are classic backstage shots that my younger audience, and I love y'all, please stay active. You guys can now go back and watch this show because it's stored on YouTube. And I want everybody, I encourage anyone that's into the funk. My special guest today, Cheryl Lynn Woodhouse, military, women of color. She served. Tim Kinley, you know, Mark Lee, and on behalf of myself and my audience, this stuff is being archived for you, not for us. We lived it. We're bringing it back for you. You know, my guy, Kevin Harrington, I know he's watching. He texted me this morning. This stuff is for you, David Brooks. You know, shout out to Brenda Woods, Club Funketeer. I hope you feel better. Shout out to Boozy and Patty Collins. We love all you guys, man. Danny, what's up, man? How you doing, bro? You know, like, this is for you guys. You know, we've lived it. We're bringing it back for you. Please share it. My content, I'll never charge you for it because the spirit of the funk don't want me to do that. You know what I mean? So you'll never have to worry. Mark, could you just get us all on the screen and join us, please? Thank you, sir. And we'll get Cheryl back. Hey, Cheryl, unmute, sweetie.
Back in.
Thank you for joining us. That was with the Tim Kelly. So everybody out there, y'all need to give Tim a hand, man. Because
Thank you so much.
I wanted to download so many photos. I was like, okay, I got to stop at like 60. We're joined today by my very special guest, Miss Sherilyn Woodhouse. and I'll let her explain. Hi, Christine. Thank you for joining us, Christine. You're amazing. Keep up the great work, man. Mr. Markley, our producer, Mr. Tim Kenley. But Cheryl, I'm going to let you take the lead and explain a little bit about why you're here and what Veterans Day means to you. And then Mark and Tim and I will respond. But I also wanted to tell my audience, Cheryl is my new co-host. So as soon as I get moved and we get set up, you'll be seeing Cheryl doing some shows as well without me, so I can get into some other stuff. But I just wanted you guys to know that we're still doing that. Okay, I just been moving. So Cheryl, please.
As always, first of all, let me thank you, Zach and Mark, for allowing me to be on your platform, especially on such a special day as today. Veterans Day. I joined in 1979, straight out of Columbia, South Carolina, from Chicago, Fort Jackson, and I served like 26 years doing administrative specialist. Part of doing administration is also finding a way to fit your blueprint on what it is you're going to continue to do in life. So I saw my role going toward personnel assistance, meaning directly connected to the soldiers, making sure they pay their promotion, their housing, if they got married, whatever it is that particularly pertains to you. I wanted to make sure I was helping you, just like my own children. Got married right after a year in the service. Married my husband Ernest Woodhouse, sits right here next to me, and my
Bring him
son.
on.
That's it. And then
Love
I
you,
have
bro. Thank you for sharing Cheryl with us, and thank you for.
Anytime, no problem.
Oh, you don't have to move those. You don't have to move those.
and then I had the oldest right there, Smile My Trail,
Yeah,
and that's
you can,
oldest. And then I have another younger one. So they actually serve too, because when you in the
they can stay right
military, you
there.
have children.
They can stay
They
right there.
grow up. They grow up in
They
the
can stay right there.
military. So part of being in the military is taking your family also through that journey and getting them the opportunity to understand when we come out, we're going to become veterans, and that's a whole nother career. So what is it like to be a veteran? It's just like having a job. You serve your country. When you finish serving your country, you got to make a decision as a veteran if you're just going to allow those 20 years to go by, or you're going to continue to support the community, because everywhere, no matter where you live in life, there's somebody out there in that community that needs your help. And it's not a financial need, as always. That's what people like to plug it to. You want to plug it to mentoring them and showing them a better way of life. And the way the people out there struggling in this day and economy, it's not a bad thing to go in the military. You know how people say, if I could do it, you could do it too? That's true to core. And if you are a female, I love to empower the women. Men, it's natural for to want to go in the military, and some will, some won't. But the women kind of try to follow behind and see, if a male can do it, let me try this too. So for me, it was always wanting to go in the military. I just wasn't that girl wanted to get in books right away. You already did that for 12 years. I don't want to do that no more. I want to find some adventure into the past the books, and that was the Army. And so whether it's Air Force, Navy, I don't know what, it doesn't matter what service, but I would tell people start with the Army, because that was my core. And, it led me all the way up to where I am now, retired first sergeant, still serving in the military, and gave a whole nother career as a security manager, making sure top secret clearances of people coming in the military. And that's important. People don't realize our MPs, our people that handle them explosives that's over there tearing up the countries, they have to be cleared by us first. And that started with myself and another fellow person that ran the entire Army for the top secret clearances. So you have to make sure people you vetting in is the same people that when they vet out and become a veteran, they still serving their country in some kind of way. And if they choose not to, that's fine. But for sure, I'm always going to be out there. So how do you do that, Cheryl? Through dance, through music, through sports. I'm double dutching now, Zach. So it's whatever it is that you feel you want to do. And can you bring that little kid back to you? Absolutely. So it's not just about that. I'm double dutching now in the community. And a
I
lot of
saw
the
that.
women on the team, they're from Chicago, most of them South Carolina, New Jersey, Boogie Down, Bronx, all of them ran by our captain, Dr. Rochelle, co-captain. Ravenel, whose spouse also was in the military. So it's just a group of people in this world just trying to keep the community flowing. And as I go along, I'm always talking to the young women about joining the military, and some of their young men too, whether it's their niece, nephew, auntie, uncle, it don't matter. So it's just a part of life, and it's a way to keep yourself afloat. And it don't hurt. You walk out, you get injured, you have disabilities, military take care of you. That's where that check come in. Every VA disability check is a part of how you serve. It ain't no free check as people like to look at it. It's the service that you gave up for your body all of
Amen.
those years. And you still want to serve the community. In order to do that, your pain gotta just be your pain because you're still gonna serve. But the Army said I would still take care of you and make a way. So
Well said.
Veterans
You
Day
know,
means a lot.
and well said. And thank you for joining us, because today is an important day. Not so much because I agree in war or disagree in war. I don't know about the panel. All I know is, for me, I have people that have served. You're my sister. You've served. You bring on women of color. We've had shows on that. We're going to continue to do that. The network of love that you're spreading through your craft and your creativity and your gift to touch people through dance, through double dutch, through skating, through the community actions you work with women. All of these things are important. And I think everybody on this panel would agree. Tim, what he does, with his archivist, creativity. Mr. Mark Lee, what he does with the production of the shows that he does, and the communication and the news. When I want news, I don't go to news. I ask Mark what's going on. You know what I'm saying? So all of us together on this panel, I want to say I'm honored, I'm humbled, because this is something I always dreamt about. I'm going to let Mark jump in and Tim jump in on what you said, Cheryl.
Glad
Mark.
to jump in. Glad to
Yes,
jump
sir.
in. Again, my apologies. There was definitely some people that were moving stuff around, including some electronics.
worries.
I was about to be worried about the electronics
Right.
falling and all in that space. So I was about to have a disaster, which I know that Cheryl can relate to, because sometimes if those electronics fall, it can be an interesting situation and all in that space. But that being said, I was going to say that veterans are very important, and I'm definitely a fan of veterans, and I know that we definitely need to support the veterans. Unfortunately, as you know, Cheryl, too often the veterans go out, they serve the community, they serve our country, and all along those lines. But sometimes when they get back, they don't always get the kind of respect that they deserve, both from the fellow people in the military as well as the citizens in general. I think that I have mentioned to you before that I have a cousin that made it up to Lieutenant Colonel Emmett Spurlock, and all along those lines, he's actually working on something that I think that both you, Zach, and even you, Cheryl, because I think that if I remember correctly, both of y'all are science fiction fans, and he's actually working with a company that is developing warp technology. So he's gone from the military to working on the whole notion of warp technology. So even though he's in the private sector, that is something that he is working on, and all in those lines. So it's not just something of science fiction. It's about to become science reality, because he's part of a company that is actually doing that and is actually doing that kind of work. And he's also worked on a number of other corporations, including Nielsen, like the Nielsen ratings and all in that space, McDonald's, and a number of other in between his jobs of service in the military. And he did serve several tours over there in the Middle East. And our hearts do go out to those that are in the Middle East, because we do know that they are in a dangerous way, no matter how you feel about the Israel-Palestine situation. But there are definitely some folks that are over there around that Middle Eastern Gulf area that are definitely there protecting a lot of America's interests, but are also in a very prominent situation that is going on. I also understand we have some people that are being involved in the Ukraine-Russia war as well. So I know that one of the things we preach here on this show is about peace and love, and we definitely want this to be a better world, and a world full of peace and love and all in that space. But until we get that kind of euphoria that we would like in that kind of ideal world, I think that one of the things that I've said before is I'm a big fan of Imagine. And some people say that Imagine is a hokey song, and it has some funk lines as well. That's the old Beatles line and all in that space. But I actually think that sometimes if we separate and get away from these national divides, religious divides, and all in that space, and I know that even And I'll wrap up on this note and everything that some of the things that I've heard about in funk is a song. We were doing a conference or a talk here at HI yesterday about AI, and I actually wrapped it up when they questioned, because I brought up funk music. You'll be proud of me, Zach, because I brought up funk music because they were talking about music and how AI is being used. And I said that one of the greatest AI tools that I had seen used, and I think you would agree with me, Cheryl, was Power of One. If you look at that video, it is very much using a new technology, and it's using that whole notion of the power of one and us being a peaceful coexistence and all along those lines. So that is something that I thought was a fitting into that particular conversation. So that's why I ended it on a funk note. So I ended it on a funk note and all in that space, because I do think that while we have modern technology, some of the old heads like Bootsy Collins are understanding what's going on and are actually reaching into both the future and the present. So definitely that's something that I'm also seeing from our veterans as well.
Tim, jump in.
Oh, what can I say? What can I interject that hasn't already been said? I will always have, regardless of my feelings toward the military-industrial complex, I will always have immense respect for those who have served in uniform. I always, want to thank others. Cheryl, thank you for your service. I think that anyone who has family that has served, love and respect goes out to them as well. The only army that I've obviously ever joined in my life was Uncle Jam's army. So the only combat I saw was on the dance floor. So I want to just thank all that have served and all the devotion and dedication that you have brought to the armed forces.
I think wrapping it up, this is a solemn day, but it's also a day of reflection, but also too, just the fact that I called Cheryl at the last minute and she was able to get on. Thank you for that. I really appreciate that. And you can follow all of us on all our social media platforms. I'm not running any banners today. Today is not the day to promote anything but what we're talking about with the vets and what Tim brought to us, because the funk veterans and all those pictures that we showed and the true funk soldiers, Club Funketeers, and the real veterans of military establishments all go hand in hand with what Mark said so eloquently: the power of the one. I'm going to run a few spots that you guys hang out for a minute, and then I'm going to give everybody the last word. But I got to get a few shout outs in, because every week, a lot of people, that support what we're about over here. And Mark, you could throw up some of those comments if you can, please, sir. Start from the top and just run all the comments, man. And thank everybody for tuning in. You guys are great. But JTRP, of course, P-Funk Radio, love you guys. Gabe, Larry Funkster Jones, Robin Circular P, Philly Phil, get on the funk bus. I love you guys. Boots and Patty, of course, Club Funketeers around the world and Club Funketeer ambassadors, HG Entertainment, Kane and Jams, my guys and my girls, Heidi and Kevin, Tony Cameron, the Funk All-Stars, Nappy and the Funk Army, 2.0, and my OGs. And my OGs are going into the Funk Hall of Fame. So thank you for that up in Dayton, Ohio in 2024. So thank you, Mr. David Webb, Funk Chronicles. That's a great honor for us. Oak City Music Collective, OCMC down here in North Carolina. My booking agent manager that takes care of a lot of stuff and helping us grow. Afterglow, 92416. Donna, of course. Q&A Entertainment. Definitely Benevolent Funk. Brooke Clagett, my funk angel. Patricia Dioria, Aquarius Rising Art. Curtis Wilcox, and of course, Mr. George DeFunca Vinci, all their artwork. They do a lot for us. Dr. Brookenstein, who takes care of all my websites. Thank you, sir. You've been serving in Happy Funk Army for 23 years since we've been in existence. DJ Coccolino in Italy, thank you for running my stuff. Elizabetta in Ireland, thank you for running my stuff. Tanny Soul Sister in Germany, thank you for playing my stuff. Mr. David Webb of the Funk Chronicles, I can't thank you guys enough. And I have a few short shout outs that, you know, some people sent me, and I always like to make sure we get these in, because now that we're back live again and everything is groovy and I'm just about moved, I can get back to how I normally would function. So I'm going to show a couple of these.
Hey, it's Chrissy
let you
Key
guys
Rollins here
check
with
out.
Holistic Restoration, inviting you to check out Zach Robinson with Funk in the Front Seat. He drops new episodes every Saturday at noon on the East Coast time, and replays are posted for whenever you miss a live stream. You can find him on 9 on the Grind TV and also on YouTube, and get ready for the funk, because he brings it every week, along with hot topics, amazing guests, and great conversations. Again, that's Zach Robinson with Funk from the Front Seat on 9 on the Grind TV and YouTube. Go check him out.
This is Joe Keys of Joe Keys and the Late Bloomer Band. Just did a show with my man Zach. Number 9. That's right. Number 9's got it going on. Check out Funk from the Front Seat. Zach Robinson. Serious good vibrations, y'all. What we need. Peace.
Hey, this is Jen Vanderputten, writer of Code and Prose. You are watching Funk from the Front Seat with Zach Roberson. Tune in every Saturday at noon for excellent and important conversation.
Hey fam, what's good? Hey fam, what's goody good? What's really good? My name is Jeff Roberson from the gospel group called Jeff Roberson and New Life. And I'm coming to you from the town that we had to name it twice. It's so nice. New York, New York. And I'm bringing you some news about my brother from another mother, Brother Zach, who's bringing you his hot new show called Funk from the Front Seat. Listen, he's bringing you funk from the vault, from the past, from the present, and into the future. He's got that music that makes the hair on the back of your neck rise up. He's bringing you funk all the way down to your toes. This is that funk that makes you really want to groove. Stay tuned. Don't touch that dial as he brings you funk from the front seat. Listen, let's go.
Wiggle, wiggle worm here, baby. Yeah, and I'd just like to say congratulations to my man Zach. Yeah, Club Funketeer number 9, keeping that funk on the shine for his 2nd year anniversary of his show, Funk from the Front Seat. It don't get no better unless you jump in the back seat and then jump back in the front seat on the one. Yeah, keep that funk alive.
Hey, this is Keith Jackson with P-Funk Radio, inviting you to check out my brother Zach Robinson with Funk from the Front Seat. Saturdays, 12 noon on the East Coast and 9 a.m. on the West Coast. It all happens on 9 on the Grind TV and also on YouTube. Great guest, great conversation each and every Saturday. That's Funk from the Front Seat with Zach Robinson on 9 on the Grind TV and YouTube. Check him out.
I got to tell you, it don't get no better than that. When you have so many people that's, you know, trying to see what you're doing and keeping the funk alive and recognize what Mark and I and all you amazing guests and all you amazing fans are doing here at Funk from the Front Seat. I'm just so humbled. And sometimes, right, I just think back. I was like, man, I was telling my guy Kev, I was like, yo, I want to do this idea. I told Mark I want to do this idea. And here we are now. So I just want to say, you know, it's a pleasure to serve. You know, I'm going to, you know, give Mr. Tim Kinley kindly the last word, but first I'm going to give Cheryl, you know, the full screen. Mark, can you give Cheryl the full screen? First yourself, and then Cheryl, and then Tim, and then we'll get out. And then you can run United We Stand at the end. Thank you. Muted.
I got to unmute myself. So give myself the full screen, so drop folks off and all along those lines.
Yeah, and then Cheryl. Yeah, you got it.
I got it. First off, it's been a great privilege working on this show and doing some great things with Zach, and we're just going to continue this thing going for many years ahead and all along those lines. So I'm already seeing that this thing is going to be and just doing amazing things. And we're going to be keeping this funk going and keeping this funk alive for a number of years. I'm thinking we got at least another 5 or 6 decades in us, and all along those lines, we might be getting up there in age and all in that space. But hey, we can do this all the way until we're well into our hundreds. And I think that Zach will be a great partner to do this with, and all along those lines, because we're going to keep you informed about a number of things going on, while also making sure that this music is definitely supported and all along those lines. And in the space of the veterans, yes, the veterans are very important. One of the veterans that I didn't mention who went on and had some kind of mixed views of the veterans movement and that military industrial complex that Tim was talking about was my dad. So actually, when I was born in 1962, Dad was actually in the Air Force, and in the Air Force stationed in Turkey and all in that space. As a matter of fact, shortly after I was born, I went and lived in Turkey for a number of years because he was based in that part of the country. So as an infant, I was over there being spoiled by some of those Turkish women. At least that's what my mom tells me even to this day, as well as some of the other folks that were there as well, and all along those lines. So I'll bring Zach up so he continues to be about this. The fact that little baby Mark and all of that space was being spoiled by those young Turkish women when I was a infant in the 60s, because literally I was born in Lincoln Hospital, just around the corner from ACI Heritage Center, where I'm at now. You know it as a clinic, but it's actually a hospital and all along those lines. But I was born there, and shortly after, got to go to Turkey because Dad was stationed in.
I didn't know that. I didn't know that. That's great. And that's a great story. Can you bring Cheryl on?
I'm going to bring Cheryl on.
And take us off.
I'm going to take both of us.
Thank you.
Great story, Mark. Yeah, I didn't know that about you either, but thank you for serving our country, and happy Veterans Day. Happy Veterans Day to all the veterans out there. You guys keep rocking, keep doing what you do, and keep bringing somebody along, because for every soldier that come out the military, whether they come out retired or just serve some years, they become a veteran immediately the next day. So let's keep bringing them up underneath our arms, under our wings, and keep making everybody do great things. I want to give a shout out to my 2 veteran organizations group. That's the International Association of Women of Color, led by Ernestine Fairclough as the president, and Pamela Dr. Wilson, my sister, is the vice president. I serve as your historian, and I want to also congratulate National Women Veterans United in Chicago, led by Rochelle Crump. We also serve on that one as co-chair and chair of policy and research. So see, it don't matter where you live in the world, you can be a robust to anybody and everybody. And if you love to dance, look me up. We working those Funketeers. We always looking to bring on ambassadors, state to state, city to city, country to country. No matter where you are, you can always dance virtually and submit the videos. And if you presently live in that state where we may need you, we can also link you up to all our people. We got our funk ambassador right here, Mr. Zach, right there in North Carolina. He's always doing shows. We'd love to link up and have some folks on stage. So y'all come on out. Happy Veterans Day. Let's funk some more, and let's keep funk what? Alive, baby. That's the only way. Signing off. Thank you, Zach and Mark.
Okay, I guess this is my time to give a shout out to everyone who makes this this program possible. Jack, you're doing a great job, bringing people out there, shining the funk on itself, which is always a great thing. Mark, thank you for your technical knowledge. I don't know where I would be right now without your knowledge of everything technical. That is just a great thing. Cheryl, thank you for your service, and we want to say Happy Veterans Day to all who have served this country. And I want to thank Donna, the love of my life, and also my sister Lynette. She's here with us. She's doing her Michael Jackson thing. Michael Jackson is to her what P-Funk is to me. So I always have to respect that. Thank you for everything else. And I just want to thank everyone who has supported my efforts as being a Parliament Funkadelic archivist / historian. That means going shout outs to George Clinton, Bootsy Collins, Bernie Worrell, Fred Wesley, Maceo Parker, the Brides of Funkenstein, Parlette, all the girl groups, Gary Scheider, Boogie Monsoon, everyone that has played a role in Parliament Funkadelic since its inception in 1959 from the first record to 1970, the first Funkadelic and Parliament albums. Thank you for supporting what I do. Parliament Funkadelic is easily one of the most important musical entities that's ever emerged in the 20th century, as far as I'm concerned. And I think it's always essential that we keep this musical legacy well documented, and we have to make sure that this documentation is accessible to younger generations of fans who are now getting into the music and are understanding how this chapter has been so successful and so influential to so many young people and people of various generations. So I want to thank all of you for supporting what I do. I'll support, as long as you support me, I'll support the funk. So it's cyclical. Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you, Zach, for this platform for me to express myself and express my funkentality. Back to you, Zach.
Mr. Mark Lee, man, thank you. Could you bring up my guest on, please? Thank you, sir, including yourself, man. We're going to end with something that Tim mentioned. So, yeah, we're going to take this out. I'm going to run the vid for y'all. But I just want to thank everybody again. You guys have been amazing. All the people on the shout. Kevin, I know you just checked and you've been watching. But, yo, everybody out there, man, that we're all connected to, we're in the light. We're part of the change for the better. So keep that in mind. Remember, don't punch down on yourself. It's not necessary. The society and the world is doing that enough. Whatever it is, trials, tribs, we all got them. Just remember, we're all working to get to the power of the one. Our Heavenly Father is going to take care of us as long as we take care of each other. And I really want to express that because there's so much going on in the world right now. I could do millions and millions of shows about it, but together as a funk community and supporting our military, supporting our police, our firemen, our communities, our churches, together we can make a change. We can do it. And I know you guys can do it out there. So once again, thank you all for tuning in. We'll be back next week. I don't know who my guest is going to be, but I'll be back live. We're back live for a while now. Took some time off. Tim, amazing, of course. Cheryl, my funk sister, you know how I feel about you and your husband. Enjoy your meal. I'm not there to pay for it. Sorry. Didn't mean to interrupt it, but enjoy your meal, whatever you have it. You guys are great, man. And I'll see y'all next week. Thank y'all for tuning in.
It's not funk. You just have to fit in between that space, that little space that you got, which is one. One. And then you would try to fit your different notes when you felt in between it, like, and that's the funk. And you can change that. And that's the funk. And you can change that.
True essence of the funk is the power of the one. It's the power of the one. This funk has just begun. You can lean on me. Let your mind be free. Light shall not won't die. But I need the funk, baby. Benson, hit that. essence of the funk is the power of the one, Bob. One!
All right, let's get out of here, Mark. The power of the one, Cheryl. Ain't don't get no better than that. Love y'all. I'll see y'all next week. Peace.
Alrighty, take care. Be safe, y'all. Happy Veterans Day.